I'm Nick, and in this video we'll be talking about how exactly to go about using tea tree oil to treat a yeast infection. Now, as you probably already know, yeast infections are almost always caused by the microscopic yeast known as Candida. Now, as you probably already know, yeast infections are almost always caused by microscopic fungus in the Candida genus. Now, inside the Candida genus are plenty of species, all known to cause yeast infections, perhaps the most notorious being Candida albicans. So we should probably look at how tea tree oil stops this fungi. A critical study published in 2003 in the journal Antimicrobial Chemotherapy took a look at yeast infections in rats. The study found that about a 5% concentration of tea tree oil killed many of the strains of Candida albicans in about 2 weeks in the study. So we can infer that if we use a 5% concentration of tea tree oil, we might get rid of a yeast infection naturally in about 2 weeks of using this level of concentration. The famous medical practitioner Dr. Andrew Weil also discusses using tea tree oil and suggests using a 10% concentration of tea tree oil in warm water. And he also recommends that if this tea tree oil treatment starts to cause irritation, you should discontinue using this essential oil. A popular brand of tea tree oil products known as tea tree oil therapy makes quite a few different tea tree oil products. One of their products includes a vaginal suppository. Now, this suppository contains 200 milligrams of tea tree oil, and according to the package directions, it is suggested to use 1 capsule daily for 6 consecutive days. Now, it is important to note that because tea tree oil on the order of a few teaspoons can be lethal when you ingest it, it's not exactly safe to eat a suppository capsule with this essential oil. And I would also recommend you completely stay away from using it in the rectum because you could easily absorb some of this tea tree oil, perhaps too much, into your system. However, using a suppository in your vagina like this should be completely fine. Now, if you just have some plain tea tree oil and you want to use it to treat a vaginal yeast infection, one thing you can do is just get some coconut oil, which is a natural Candida killing oil, and simply heat the coconut oil and then add in tea tree oil to that coconut oil and try to keep it around a 10% concentration of tea tree oil in your coconut oil medium, and then simply soak a tampon in the heated coconut oil. And after the tampon is sufficiently cool so it is comfortable to touch, you can insert it into the vagina and let it stay there for perhaps an entire night. As you do this, your vagina should begin to heal and be more and more free of a yeast infection. Now, if you're a man and you have, say, a yeast infection on your genitals, you can also just use some coconut oil. You may not even have to heat it, and just add tea tree oil to the coconut oil and begin to apply it to the skin that is currently infected. Now, another thing women can do is make a douche that is antifungal. Now, you may have heard that you could use tea tree oil in water. Now, if you use enough tea tree oil in that water, sure, it will be therapeutic. However, it probably is going to be better if you use some type of gentle vinegar, such as apple cider vinegar. Now, the vinegar by itself will not work as well as vinegar plus tea tree oil. So, like the water, you just simply add in your essential oil, tea tree oil, into the vinegar, and you can begin to use the solution as a douche. It may be wise to douche with this mixture before you insert your coconut oil tea tree tampon at night before you go to bed. Now, you can also take a sitz bath with some tea tree oil. Simply pour a shallow bath And when you sit down in this bath, it should be high enough to cover the infected area on your body. So if you have it in your groin or in your rectum, this would be ideal for a sitz bath. If it's higher up on the body and difficult to sit in shallow water and cover that area, you may have to just go, of course, with a regular bath. Now, because there's a lot of liquid, even in a shallow sitz bath, it's probably not the best idea to try to get a high concentration of tea tree oil in your bath water. Rather, this may be more for a therapeutic feeling, and you can just add a few drops of various essential oils to the water along with tea tree oil, and perhaps even throw in some baking soda. And you may want to sit in one of these baths 2 to 3 times a day, and this may help to provide some relief from itching and generally soothe that area. So, in conclusion, for localized treatment of Candida yeast infections using tea tree oil, just try to get at least a 5% concentration of this essential oil in your medium and simply apply it frequently to the area of concern. And again, if you experience pain or irritation, you should probably discontinue using this oil. Well, for more information on how to use this important therapeutic essential oil, feel free to check out the article on our website, Candida Hub. The link, of course, is just below in the description. And while you're at Candida Hub, you can also find out about a very fast, safe, natural 12-hour cure for yeast infections. This treatment is very powerful, and it is one of the fastest ways to get rid of a yeast infection. And if you'd be interested in finding more out about this natural treatment, feel free again to simply stop by. And the link below to our page on Candida Hub will talk about this natural therapy. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you get better very soon. And hopefully this information is something you can use to get better.